Hey guys, welcome back to another F1 2021 video. The My Team career mode for Cross GT Racing. I do apologise for not uploading very often recently. It has been a pretty busy last few months. I haven't really had a whole lot of time to get on the game and do the recording. So I've been meaning to get back into it, but yeah, life has just been quite busy lately, a lot going on, but now I am hoping to get back into a more consistent sort of upload schedule, I guess. I do want to keep on playing this and finish off the season. We are sitting top of the Drivers' Championship at the moment, so I'm quite hopeful that we can get all the way to the end, maybe claim our first Drivers' Championship, but we will have to wait and see. Just recapping the last episode, it was round 4, the Spanish Grand Prix. Rain in qualifying did end up, I think it was rain in qualifying, ended up making a bit harder for us to qualify up the top where we really should have ended up. So we did start a little bit further back in the pack, but good clear day for race day for the most part. Did mean we could start working our way back up through the pack and being more competitive. Rain at the end of the race did make it a little bit harder. Made the decision to stay out on used softs. The AI were also staying out on dry tyres. In hindsight, maybe an early change to inters might have been a bit more beneficial, but at the end of the day, decision was made. We stuck by it. Didn't get the result we ideally would have wanted, but still managed to get some points, still sitting top of the driver's standings, so I'm happy about that. We are now getting ready for round 5, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, heading off to Baku for race day and hopefully another good result.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A 4th row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. The captain lines up on pole position and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Norris, Daniel Ricciardo and Bottas, Leclerc, Gasly, Sainz and George Russell, Ocon, Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda and Michael Schumacher.
So we did have an issue with the recording for the qualifying session, so I haven't been able to use that, but we did end up pole position, 6 tenths ahead of Verstappen. We were actually 2 tenths behind him, but we managed to gain a massive 8 tenths through Sector 2 and Sector 3 in qualifying, so an amazing final lap to get us on pole. Huge advantage for us here is we've got 5 red lights and we're off and away for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Not the greatest start for us, and an amazing start for Verstappen, who goes straight up into P1. We managed to go around the outside of Perez and maintain P2. So not a great start for us, but we are still up the front, and hopefully we can just tuck in behind Verstappen and have him pull us along for a bit. And maybe we can start pulling away from the rest of these guys early on so that we can guarantee some good points in this race. As you saw before, 2 stopped for this race. We're on used softs from qualifying. We did use a lot of our soft compound tyres in practice. I was playing around with setups for this race, and I think it was a pretty good setup for qualifying. Obviously with the 6/10 advantage to get pole, as we clip the wall a little bit there. Doesn't look like there's any damage to the front wing. Maybe some minor damage to the end plates on the front wing, but no major damage there, so hopefully no major performance drop in the car, or hopefully no performance drop at all, as we have pulled out to over a second lead over Perez. We are managing to maintain pace with Verstappen, which is good. We go purple through sector 2, purple through the castle section, which I wasn't expecting. I mean, it is only lap 1. All the cars being grouped up together is going to make it a bit easier to be faster through there, but still a good sign for us this early in the race to be fast through sector 2. Verstappen is pulling away from us quite easily on this back straight, sector 3, and Perez is gaining time to us as well. Verstappen now 8 tenths ahead of us. Perez has managed to get the gap down to a second. He was under a second before. We were, I think, 1.3 or 1.5 ahead of him. Another slight clip with the wall there, but still no damage as we go purple through sector 1.
Understood.
Quick change to the pit strategy. We're going to be staying out an extra lap on these softs. Obviously the tyre wear not as bad as we initially thought, which is good for us. We can hopefully stretch out the mediums quite a bit as well.
Some information on
And possibly a pit lane strategy change at some point as we go back and take a look at what happened to Charles Leclerc, who is now out of the session, heading over the top of the castle section. Just an engine failure in lap 2 for Ferrari. Not what they wanted at all in this race, and he ends up having to cut off one of the Mercedes to get around that corner. I think that might have been Bottas, so not good for Bottas's race to be slowed down there. However, it was only lap 2, so plenty of time to catch back up, and with the cars still being relatively close together, still DRS to be gained, even with that with being slowed down there by Leclerc. Pit window is now open for us. Verstappen 1.5 seconds ahead, Perez just over a second behind, so we're still maintaining some good pace. Even though we are on used soft, we're going to be pitting a bit earlier than everyone else. No DRS now that we are out of DRS range to Verstappen. We just need to keep Perez at bay. We don't want to give him DRS. We want to keep him where he is. A little bit of a slide heading out of that right-hander, and that has dropped Perez into that 1 second window. He's just under 6 tenths behind us. Verstappen is now 2 seconds ahead, and it's becoming more and more apparent the difference in performance with our car and everyone else's car. Heading up over the top of the castle section, Verstappen gaining about 5 tenths on us through those 2 slight left-hand corners, and Perez manages to get from being a second behind us up to just 2 tenths behind us. Passes us before he even gets to the DRS line. We're getting to the pits and we have to slow down, and Norris goes flying past us. We did see him coming up on the inside there, and we did have to put on the brakes to let him go so we could still get into the pit lane. Almost a massive collision there, but we managed to dodge complete catastrophe there and get into the pits. Now we're out on fresh mediums, back in P20, but everyone else on softs should be pitting soon. Schumacher just looks like he started the race on mediums, so he's going to be staying out a bit longer, which could be an issue for us if we can't get past him. But we do have the pace on him until we get up to this part here, where it seems the AI are just that much quicker than us. He's just gained about 3 tenths on us through those corners there. So by this thing's a little bit of a gulf in performance between our car and everyone else. I don't know if that's I mean, we are on cold tyres, so it could just be his tyres have warmed up. Another clip with the wall there. Still no major damage, which is what we like to see. Pushing the car to the limit, but not pushing it too hard where we end up having to change components, is it looks like some of the rest of the grid are heading into the pits. Verstappen's in the pits as well. He comes out ahead of us on new mediums, but we have managed to close the gap. He is now just over a second ahead of us.
That's P15.
So he did manage to gain some time there on that pit stop. Obviously with the other cars heading in, he may have been held up a little bit, which would have helped. But we will take that and run with that. Hopefully we can stick with him now for the rest of the race. As we, a bit of a collision there in the back of Verstappen's car. We managed to hold on to it. The slide did cost us a little bit of time, but he is being held up by Zhou, so hopefully that works in our favour, or at least he's not really being held up because he's still gaining massive time on us through there. And through sector 3, through this straight, we're losing a lot of time to the AI. I don't know exactly what that is. Everyone is on similar compound tyres now, so we should have similar pace. We are, of course, running a slightly different setup to what I normally run, and I think maybe we've focused too much on aero in terms of getting through the corners and the technical parts of the track, and we've sacrificed straight line speed in order to do that. We do go fastest lap though, 1:43.7. Verstappen making quick work of Zhou there. We managed to do the over under on him and get back around the inside and get in front. We make a big move on Verstappen into effectively the lead of this race. Lundgaard and Schwartzman both having to make a pit stop. I'm assuming very soon, running on used softs. But we have managed to get up into effective P1. I think another clip with the wall there. The end plates of this front wing definitely saving our skin a lot this race so far. We're only 6.5 laps in, and we're already sort of dodging bullets left, right and centre. Yellow flag there through the castle section. There's a car going slow. Guan Yu Zhou out of the session. Interesting to see what happened there. He did slow down a few of the cars there. So we go and take a look at the replay to see what happened to Zhou. So here he is. He's still hanging with us and hanging with Verstappen after we passed him back in turn 2, and he's just an engine failure has hit him in the worst possible place through the castle section. Anyone behind him would have lost at least a few tenths there because of that. So not good for the rest of the grid, but great for Verstappen and myself. Now we kind of get to run away a little bit with this. Another minor collision with the back of Verstappen's car. He did sort of, it looked like he brake checked us a little bit, but we haven't really lost a whole lot of time there. Still within DRS range, which works hugely in our favour. Ricciardo has, Ricciardo was ahead of Perez. Perez is now back in front of Ricciardo, 3 seconds behind us. So if we can just stick with Verstappen, we could be on for a win here today, and even more points to extend our lead in the Drivers' Championship. We're getting a little bit close on that curb there through that right-hander. I don't like hitting that curb at all, really, because it can sort of throw your line off quite significantly and put you into the wall. And now Verstappen just pulling away through sector 3. We were within DRS range before we hit the 2 corners heading onto the straight, and now he's 1.5 seconds ahead. He goes 4 thousandths of a second faster than our previous fastest lap. So similar pace between our car and his. So hopefully we can stick with him. Well, at least it says we're similar pace, but he just keeps pulling away. And by the next lap, he is 3 seconds ahead, and Perez is now hovering around DRS range, which is not good. So we do not have the pace that we have previously had. Could be a number of factors. We are running slightly older tyres, but I can't see how that would have such a big effect on the pace. Driving line, not the greatest. We're not running through the corners as well as we could. Not hitting the accelerator as early as we could. I'm too cautious about spinning in this track. I've spun here multiple times, so really just trying to be aware of where the car is and when I can accelerate without causing too big of a mistake. But the AI just seemed like they're so much quicker through this second part of Sector 2, and definitely in a straight line they're faster than us. We don't have the pace that we would normally have, which is frustrating, but we are running a slightly different setup for this race, a bit heavier on the aero to get through the corners, which is affecting our top speed on the straights. We are also running, as we take a look at Perez now, just making quick work of us before he even gets to the DRS straight, or DRS line. Ricciardo now ahead of us, and now heading into turn 1. Norris looking to go up the inside. We've given plenty of room, but we just have a much better run around the outside and a better exit of that corner. So we managed to maintain P4 into the wall again. Still no major damage, so we're getting a very lucky around here not to take any major front wing damage. There may be some minor damage. We will just have to wait and see how that affects the car, or if there is any damage at all. Perez now 1.5 seconds ahead of us, and Ricciardo pulling away as well. Norris is within DRS range, 7 tenths behind us. By the time we get through those 3 corners, he's now 3 tenths behind us and gaining. We're using our battery, and it's still just not enough. These guys don't even have DRS. Now Norris would have DRS, but he already had us. He was already about to make his move. Gasly now looking to make a move on us heading into turn 1. We managed to keep him on the inside. He doesn't have a very good line. Heading through the inside of turn 1, we managed to stay ahead. We're now P5. We're now dropping back through the pack because our pace just isn't there. We are running the same engine components that we have been running since the start of the season. So 5 rounds in, still running the same engine components. Might be time to take a look at that and maybe get put some new parts on. Fastest lap for Norris, a 1:43.6. That's almost 1.5 tenths faster than Verstappen's fastest lap. So the McLaren is definitely a lot quicker this season than it was in previous seasons. Definitely a dark horse for season 4 here. Maybe they might be ones to watch through the later parts of the season. Ricciardo, of course, taking his McLaren to P1 in the very first race of the season, opening up the season 4 with a win for McLaren at Bahrain. So they know how to get up there. Just see if they can do it consistently for the rest of the season. But for now, it is Red Bull 1-2, McLaren P3 and P4. We've got Gasly and his AlphaTauri P5. We're sitting P6. We've got Bottas closing in on us in the Mercedes. Sainz behind him, rounding out the top 8. And then there's a bit of a gap between Sainz and one of the Alpines behind him. There's a definite gap there, so the top 8 sort of running away with it at this point. We are halfway through this race, or just over halfway through, and we are already losing touch to these guys, so we definitely need to take a look at setup for next race. Engine components, we might need to take some new components on. We haven't used any new ones yet, only the ones we started with, so we'll take a look and see. There may be some engine penalties coming at some point further through the season as Bottas makes quick work of us. Sainz trying to go around the outside as well, heading into turn 1, but we managed to keep him behind us. Bottas, on the other hand, gets through easily up into P6. We know that the AI brake very early there. Bottas just lost my words there. I didn't think Bottas was gonna turn that quick. He sort of ducked across to almost a last second ditch to defend against us, and we almost collide, but we managed to keep the cars apart. Bottas quickly correcting there and moving back across onto his line. So a little bit of a scary moment there, but we managed to hold on. Looks like the AI are starting to box. Second pit stop for them. Signs makes a big dart up the inside of turn 1, but goes in too quick and has a poor line through the corner and a poor exit. But he is right back on us next lap. But he's into the pits now, and it looks like all of the other teams are probably pitting their other drivers now. So we are now sitting, we're sitting P1 for now, but we are probably more likely going to be falling back into the P6 that we had before the pit stop started. Verstappen, he's only 6 seconds behind us, but by the time we get to the bottom of sector 2, he's already gained a second and a half on us, 4.4, which is now going to quickly drop. He's on brand new mediums, we're on old mediums, 4.1 seconds now. By the time we hit the pit lane, he's 3.5 seconds behind us before we start braking. So the AI easily outpacing us here today. Verstappen getting another fastest lap, 1:42.9. So very quick pace from him. There was some minor damage to the wing after all. Team has changed that over, which has cost us another 4.5 seconds, which means instead of coming out P6 we now come out P9. But based on those splits, we would have probably just come out ahead of Schumacher in P8. So we still lost quite a lot of time to the AI. So the race not really turning out the way we want it to. 9 laps left. We've got new mediums, we've got a new front wing. We'll see if we can make something of it. See if maybe the all those minor collisions with the front wing were the reason for our lack of pace. Pierre Gasly pulling out a monster lap. Verstappen going fastest again, another 140, was that a 142.9, and then Gasly with a 142.5. 4.5 tenths roughly faster than Verstappen. So Gasly and AlphaTauri also another one to watch as we try to make a move back on Russell as he passed us coming down the start-finish straight. So now we're in a massive danger zone here. We've lost 1.5 seconds to Schumacher, or almost 2 seconds to our teammate since we came out of the pits in the previous lap. I think it was the previous lap. And now we're battling with Russell for P10 just to stay in the points here. And he's got Hamilton behind him. Hamilton a lot further back than I thought he would be. Mercedes not seeming as competitive this season as they have been in previous seasons. But definitely in the danger zone now. Started the season fighting for podiums, and now round 5 we're fighting just to scrape any point that we can get as Russell goes back in front of us. Hamilton gets in front of us as well. A little bit of a nudge on the back of Hamilton's right rear wheel. We managed to go around the outside of turn 2, DRS, and hopefully we can start pulling away. Actually, no, we couldn't pull away from Hamilton there on a DRS straight, but heading into the castle section we have gained quite a lot of time on him there. We're now right up behind Russell. So we do have, at this point we've got sort of mid-marker pace. We are maintaining pace to Russell, and we are keeping Hamilton at bay with Tsunoda behind him, not quite performing as well as his teammate Pierre Gasly, who is I think still sitting P5. So a little bit of a difference there in skill between some of these drivers on the same team. Schumacher is currently holding on to P8. He's got an almost 8 second, he's got a 7 second advantage over Russell. So as long as he maintains the pace that he's got, P8 minimum for Schumacher, which is great for us and great for him after his sort of lack of form over the last couple of races ever since the incident between him and myself at Imola. So hopefully this is signs of things to come for Schumacher in the coming races. Following Russell through the castle section now through sector 2, and he's starting to pull away a little bit over the top here. We lose about 3/10 there to him. AI just hugely quick through there. I don't know if it's just because they get a better exit or if it's just because our car isn't really where it needs to be. But either way, we managed to maintain a decent pace. We've gone green through sector 2, so we're finally going green through a sector after spending most of this race pretty much just going slower through every single sector. So promising sign there that maybe we're starting to find some much needed pace at the back end of this race. Lap 22, now we're five laps away from the end of this race. We managed to get another personal best there, our new best lap of 1:43.4, which is still a bit over 4/10 slower than Verstappen's best, and almost a second slower than Gasly's best lap. So definitely not race winning pace, but we found a little bit extra that we could have used right from the beginning, as we ended up making quick work of, well, not quick work, but we ended up getting past Russell on that first DRS straight. We've managed to gain a decent amount of time there, pushing him out wide in that left-hander at turn, I think it was turn 3. So, which has given us a bit of time. I don't know if maybe he's taken some damage, I'm not sure. But we do have a decent lead over him now, 1.8 seconds. That is going to come down quite quickly. We go green through sector 1 this lap, which is massive, because we really need to be going green through all sectors. Russell now only 1.5 seconds behind us, so we gained about 3 or 4 tenths through that top section. Sector 2 we go green again. This is shaping out to be a pretty good lap. We just need this final sector to be a good one. But the pace of the car is just not there. We're struggling for speed. We're just over 300 k's an hour. We should be going, 320, 330 at this point. We're not using the battery, which we could have used. We go red through sector 3, down 9/10. We lost over a second, or we would have lost about a second in sector 3 that lap. We're green for sectors 1 and 2, red for sector 3, 9/10 down in total for the lap. That is not the pace we were hoping to have. Almost 10 seconds now to our teammate. So P9 is the best we can hope for at this point, unless there's a crash or there's a safety car of some sort. We really need something like that so we can get back in this race. Need some sort of a miracle here to get us back up into the big points. But we can't bank on that. We have to just keep pushing on. So focus now is to just keep Russell behind us. We do clip the wall there on a straight, so a little bit of a lapse in judgment and concentration there, which could cost us at the end of the race. We've only got just over 3 laps left in this race, and we really need to bring home this P9 if we want to. Well, I suppose even if we come home with P10, it's only a 1 point difference between the two positions. So, but we definitely want every single point that we can get as Russell gets past us again. But we're looking to do the old switcheroo there, back to the inside of turn 1. We get back around the inside, back into P9. Russell making a good move there on the DRS straight, but we managed to outsmart him heading into turn 1 and gain that position back. He's still got DRS, but hopefully we've got enough of a gap that we can stay ahead heading into this next corner, and we do manage to stay ahead. So there's a win for us right there. We just got to make sure that we can keep Russell behind us for the next roughly 2.5 laps of this race, which isn't going to be easy, but we can do it. I feel like we can do it. We can pull out this P9 and maximize the points that we can get at this point. Schumacher now 11.5 seconds ahead of us, so just pulling away. We don't have any pace at this point, just fighting for survival. You know, started off the season battling for wins, and now a few races later we are struggling to stay in the points and just come away with something. Heading down to the start finish line, Russell gets ahead of us after the finish line, which is big. We managed to keep him in the inside. We go around the outside of turn 1, back in front again. We managed to stay ahead of him before the finish line, so we can keep him at bay. Even if he's got DRS, we do have the ability in the car to keep him behind us until we get to the start finish line. Hopefully pull out P9 and walk away with a couple of points, which could be crucial at the end of the season. Every point counts, so that's what we're trying to get. Start finish straight again. DRS zone. Russell's got DRS. This time he gets ahead of us a lot earlier than he did in the last lap. But we're still going to make a big dive bomb down the inside of turn 1, and we get him back. And we have had a pretty good line there. I think maybe we compromised his line coming out of turn 1. We're now over a second, 1.2 seconds ahead. I don't know if he's got damage. It doesn't look like he does. He will have DRS still, but we've already gained a decent gap to him coming out of that first DRS straight. So this could be big. This could be what we need to stay ahead of him and get this car home and across the line for maximum points on offer for us at this point. Schumacher 14 seconds ahead in P8, so there's no way we're going to catch up to him. Verstappen and Perez both making their start to sector 3, heading through the last couple of corners before the final straight. So a comprehensive win, 1-2 for Red Bull, and the McLarens only just entering the final straight now. So big win for Red Bull, big points for McLaren as well. We go green through sector 1. Verstappen takes the checkered flag, but we are holding on. We've got Russell behind us, and Hamilton is following along behind him, and one of the Alpha Tauris as well following along behind Hamilton. We've got a second to Russell now, and it's all on battery. We're going to rinse the battery for all we can down the final straight. Russell will have DRS. 3 tenths, 2 tenths down to the line. We've got no battery left to use, and Russell claims P8 or P9, sorry, at the line. Manages to just get ahead of us by the looks of things. We put up as good of a fight as we could, but it just wasn't good enough today.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So an excellent result there for Red Bull. A 1-2 for them. Verstappen claiming the win here. Norris getting P3 for McLaren, getting McLaren on the podium. Ricciardo P4, so massive points for them as well. Gasly P5 gets the extra bonus point for fastest lap. Even at the end of the race, he was still 3.5 tenths faster than Verstappen in single lap pace, which is massive. Michael Schumacher finishing 8th, starting P14, so he claims 6 places, gets 4 points. We unfortunately, starting pole, finished P10 after a pretty dismal performance. Only a solitary point for us, which means that now Sergio Perez is only 1 point behind us, but Verstappen jumps from P3 all the way up to P1, 6 points ahead of us thanks to that win here today. Looking at the constructors standings, we managed to get overtaken by McLaren, who are now sitting P2 after a massive result today. We're sitting P3 in the constructors. Red Bull, of course, running away with the 1 and 2 finish here today, sitting on 137 points, well clear of McLaren by about 40 odd points. So that brings us to the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Not a very good day for us today. We did everything that we could. The car just wasn't there. I feel like the setup was still really good. I think maybe what let us down was just the wear on the components. We've got I think about 30% wear on all of our parts. We're still using the same parts from the beginning of the season, so we do have spares sitting there. We don't necessarily have to take a grid penalty this early in the season, but it might be an idea. We'll have to take a look at that. We are heading to the Canadian Grand Prix in the next round, which is probably my favourite track. We are definitely a force to be reckoned with there. We have had a couple of DNFs over in season 1 and season 3, but it has definitely been probably our strongest track in the calendar for us. So might be an idea to take a grid penalty there for a component or two. Just so we don't have to take any penalties at the end of the season and give ourselves as much of an advantage at the end, and hopefully we can still be competitive at the end and still be fighting for a championship. We'll have to wait and see. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, let me know in the comments what you thought, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and hopefully I can get back to consistently uploading these videos and not keeping you guys waiting so much. So thanks for hanging in there, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.